No, you're insane!
Hello, and welcome to the Madhouse, episode 93. I am Ultimate Spy 53, the host of this podcast, and joining me for this week's episode, I have...
Hi, I'm that guy. I'm here again.
And what's up, bitches? I got a lightsaber.
Actually,
I got a lightsaber now.
That's
Anyway,
his name.
yay!
His name is I Got a Lightsaber.
Pretty much, big dinogator couldn't settle.
actually, later on, I want to briefly mention it, because you know, dinosaurs and everything. I just briefly mention it, even though that's not the topic this week. Jurassic World 3 was announced. That's all I'm gonna say.
I heard about that.
That's all I'm gonna say. They're not gonna stop.
Yeah, that's gonna be coming out in 2021.
I am yay for it.
Okay, here's
I'm not gonna.
I'm
just gonna say it's
I think
awesome.
that, okay, you mentioned it. I'm going to talk about it.
Okay, go ahead.
I think that that's both a good and a bad idea.
Oh, really?
We haven't. I am not opposed to getting more dinosaurs. Not at all. I mean, to even consider that I would be is just like dumb and completely against who I am. But anyway, with you haven't seen Jurassic World 2. It's not any guarantee, hey, this is going to be good or this is going to be bad. I think that it could be good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to see that movie as soon as it comes out. But the previous movies, the original trilogy, the first one was amazing. The second one was, according to most people, I loved it, but it still wasn't just quite the right thing for me.
Right.
But the third one was absolute shit.
Oh, really?
So I can't see if I'm going to enjoy or hate that idea when until after the second film comes out. I think I'm going to like it. I hope I like it. I know the new director is a horror genre director, and that's what he's kind of doing.
Colin Trevorrow, I think his name is.
Yeah, might be. I don't know. But if it is, then hell yeah, I am looking forward to it. If not, then I think that they're digging themselves a grave. So it could go either way. I hope they are right with it, not only for their sake, but for the fans.
True, yeah. I love the Jurassic Park franchise. I'm just like you. That's one thing that me and Big Dinoguy share a lot in common is Jurassic Park. I love all of them. Not all of them are my favorite, but I like them all, and I'm glad that they're not getting. My dad was like, because I think we showed him the new trailer, and he was like, really? They're just doing the same plot over again. All the dinosaurs, or the island's having a problem, the dinosaurs running amok, the same thing. Like, not really. Think of it. It is not the same
thing.
But
this time the island's exploding.
Like, oh, the island's exploding, the dinosaurs live. Same thing every movie. Not really. They do change it up. Very similar.
Yeah, pretty much. So the whole idea with the Jurassic Park films was, how do I put this? It's the man playing God ends in shit.
Yes, yes.
I mean, dinosaur eat man, woman inherit the earth. I mean, seriously. And I just saw a meme about that the other day. Screw everything, and then they had woman screws up containment, dinosaurs kill everyone again. And I mean, that's the whole idea of what Jurassic Park always was. It wasn't just some blockbuster movie. It was a book written by Michael Crichton, and I've read the book. Vastly different in a lot of ways, and same in a lot of others. But oh god, the way they do John Hammond, don't even get me started with that. He is an absolute fucking jackass in the book. In the movies, he's my favorite character of it. And when I was reading, I was like, oh my god, he's a dick. And it has Compsognathus eating babies.
Oh my god.
In the book.
That's disgusting.
That was one of the opening scenes. When I read it, I was like, whoa. But still, it was just man screwing with nature, getting the shit kicked out of him. Comeuppance, indeed. But if they do a good job with it, then I'm going to be all for it. If they don't, like they did with Jurassic Park 3, fucking up my personal favorite dinosaur, the Spinosaurus.
That was disturbing, actually. I still remember the scene where Alan is sleeping, and then he has this like a dinosaur. Like, someone's saying Alan, he's like, wakes up, and he's like, it's like a velociraptor. Like, he's like, he's like, that is bad. Like, not CGI, just like bad. Like, I don't know, it's just creepy. You know.
Fun fact though, the character's that your name is, his name is Billy Brennan.
Wait, who?
The dude that's Dr. Grant's assistant. His last name is Nick first. When Alan is actually coming up on the dig site, he says, Mr. Brennan. Oh my god, I'm in a movie! Ah, crap, wrong one. Seriously.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I just thought I'd bring up the fact that they're making a new one. They're not gonna. They just announced it. So I mean, that's not the topic for this week. But I just thought I'd bring it up because hey, it's a nerd podcast. We can do that. That's the thing we do sometimes. Just get used to it. We kind of go off topic a little bit, but that's fine. I like to go off topic. So the third purpose of this episode, and I was thinking a lot about it because I was talking to my folks earlier about this, and it would just be a fun thing to do because we had earlier, like 71 episodes ago, we had a podcast about Doctor Who we had a failed attempt at a podcast, and we redid it with a Doctor Who podcast, and we haven't done that in a long time. I just didn't really think about it because, we don't really have a Doctor Who podcast. I used to have a podcast called WhoCast. I just kind of stopped recording after 8 episodes. But I was thinking, I have at least a couple of friends who like Doctor Who, and I was thinking it'd be fun to talk about because not only am I going to meet David Tennant in 5 days from now on Thursday, I just feel like it would be a good time to talk about the Doctor Who, because there is a new Doctor, and in general, Doctor Who is something that has changed people's lives for the better. Like, it's amazing. So, so starting off, does anyone have a favorite Doctor? I know mine's 10th Doctor. I love him. He's fantastic.
Same.
Yes.
I love Christopher Eccleston.
Yes.
He's my first Doctor. I know he had some issues, and he only lasted for 1 season, and I heard some people say that he was a bit of a dick in person, but
yeah.
No, he's my favorite Doctor. He's the one I started out on.
He's actually my first Doctor. I mean, I love him. He's not my favorite, but I do like him a lot. And I just wish he could stay on for more than 1 season, because season 1 I was introduced first. Like, he was the first Doctor I saw on the TV. I'm like, who's this guy?
Thanks.
And that was the thing where after watching like the first season, I didn't even know there was Classic Who. I didn't even know that the show was. I thought the show started in 2005. I didn't know it actually started like in the 60s. I didn't even know that. Like, what is this monstrosity?
So I was in a very similar boat to that, and beforehand I was one of those jackasses that was like, what the hell is Doctor Who? What the hell is Doctor Who? Because I kept hearing everyone talking, Doctor Who, Doctor Who, Doctor Who, Doctor Who. I'm like, that's just stupid. And finally, one day, Spike TV, when this is years ago. God, when was this? I think this might have been like 2007 or something like that.
Wow. Jeez.
No, it was like a couple years later. Anyway, it was a few years later, and I was watching TV one day. I was like, okay, Doctor Who, let's see which one this is. The very first episode that I ever saw of Doctor the Dalek, and that's
a good one.
Dalek, yeah, that was crazy.
And all that. And oh my God, I missed the first like 15 minutes of it, but after that, I fell in love with it.
Thanks to re-airing, you can watch them again.
Well, pretty much. Then a few years later, we got Netflix, and I watched the Netflix stuff, and I just fell in love with it. It soon became one of my favorite shows of all time. And it still is, even now.
And that's the thing with the original show is that the first Doctor's era and the second Doctor's era, BBC just thought like, oh well, this show isn't that good. We'll just tape over those episodes because we need more room for storage and everything. We'll wrap them over. We'll just trash them. I was like, no one's gonna care. Hello, you realize how many? There's like 1 billion fans who love this show. Bad idea. You could have made history. You decided to trash them. What a dick, BBC.
Well, with that though, so one of my family friends was actually a bobby cop over in Britain, and he was young, like he was a kid when that show came out, and he and I were talking one time after you learned, hey, I like Doctor Who too. And he mentioned the first time that the Doctor ever shown on TV.
Wow.
And he was watching it with his grandmother, I think, and they were scared shitless. And he jumped behind the desk to hide from the Dalek on the TV.
Oh my God.
And the first time that the Doctor regenerated, the entire damn country was in a fucking uproar. Everyone was glued to their TVs when that happened.
Oh God. Yeah.
And it was like, no, you can't kill off the Doctor.
Well, that was a part of Doctor Who where they didn't know what to do with the show because, like, William Hartnell wanted to leave, and it's like, what are we going to do?
That's exactly my point. No
so
one's
it's like,
idea.
how are we going to continue the show? Where it's like, what if we invented a plot device so that the Doctor could actually change his appearance when he died? And that would continue the show. It's like, you know what? That's a brilliant idea. So, like, it worked. It clearly worked.
And they were all just like, what the hell are you doing to our Doctor? Oh, that's new.
Yeah.
Hey, it was.
It worked pretty much. I think it was a really good move on there because they didn't know how Doctor Who would become this popular until they made a decision, because how you have an actor who wants to leave the show to do other things. It's like, how are we gonna make the show go on? We can't do a James Bond thing. It's like, oh, James Bond just has a new face now because he can, and it's no one really realizes that he has a different face. Well, we can actually explain the change by this plot device. And it worked pretty well. That's why
one of my favorite things.
James Bond, you just gotta be like, okay, different times, different Bonds, okay, whatever.
Oh, was that Lucas?
It's just small in ways. That's pretty much it.
The whole regeneration thing is one of my favorite things about Doctor Who, honestly.
Definitely. Oh yeah, I love the fact that they had it, especially in the earlier seasons. I mean, I think my least favorite season, like, in Regeneration scene ever, and actually, I asked Peter Davison about this at the convention at Anglicon, about what happened. Like, I didn't know why they did that, because you never saw it probably, but there was a Regeneration. It was the 4th Doctor to the 5th Doctor, and it was the most bizarre Regeneration ever, where they had, and then I actually saw the full episode. I literally just all I seen from that episode was the Regeneration. That's it, and maybe a little bit of the next episode. I didn't see any of it, but when that one scene where he decided, the cause of the Doctor's death is he falls from the Paris Project telescope, and he falls to his death. That's how he dies. And they had this Watcher figure fuse into him. What the fuck? So they have him fuse him, and Peter Davison's like, yeah, we literally had, it was 9:57 a.m. We had to do some, we had to be at some place. We had literally 3 minutes to film this scene where it would have Tom Baker here, I would stop, and then would just look up surprised. And that's how we did it. And it looked pretty good, but it's like, it was the weirdest Regeneration. It's like, oh, how does the Doctor die? Oh, he just falls. Wow. Really? He just falls. Just falls to his death. That's how it works. That's just how the Regeneration works. I mean, the other ones are actually pretty, they're more simplistic. It's like, oh, poisoning or whatever. It's like, you're just falling to a death. That's how it works. Wow. I didn't get it, but like, that was just one of the in the classic series, that's how the Regeneration worked, where it was usually on the ground, and as the series got newer, it would always regenerate up. Like, and when it got to the modern era, it would be up. And it would just be the way it was. They got, obviously the CGI got better and all that stuff, but that was, yeah, I do agree that Regeneration was the best part of Doctor Who. I was always looking forward to a Doctor Who Regeneration, although my favorite and sad Regeneration ever was the 10th Doctor to the 11th Doctor. That was sad because not only was he able to hold on to the pain of the radiation poisoning, but he was able to hold on to it long enough to see about all of his friends, and then go back and then stop it for a brief time, and then go all the way to his TARDIS and then regenerate. That's amazing.
Yeah, that scene all the time. I love it and hate it at the exact same time. I've rewatched the show a couple times, and I got both parents into it.
Yes.
Actually, my mom and I one time she and I actually watched everything. So the first episode that she ever watched with me, like when she said, "Hey," I was rewatching the series. And it was on the second time. She had watched a couple things from the sidelines, and was like, "Hey, this is fun. Would you mind if we start watching this show together?" And I was like, "Okay, you want to start? Just continue." Just continue from where you are. The first episode that she ever watched with me was the episode when Rose gets sucked into the other portal.
Oh yes.
No. That's the first episode that
so
she ever saw. And so we watched the rest of the series. We got to the end of where it was at the time, which was right before the 12th Doctor comes onto the scene.
Yes.
And she's like, "Hey, can we rewatch that?" And I'm just like,
it was
okay.
So sad though. It was legit.
Yeah,
it was like the saddest thing. It's like
yeah,
I burned up a
was
son just to say goodbye. It's like that is such a good writing. Like line, I burned up a son just to say goodbye. Like I'm burning up a son. Wow.
When that happened, and tears were rolling down, and she had only. That was the first time that she had ever seen that character, and just
wow.
she was in tears, sitting in the chair, and her eyes were glued to the screen.
Oh my god.
For me, just watching my mom do it, it's like, damn, I knew this was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, after everything had happened, we rewatched the series back to the first one, so 9.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, Netflix doesn't have any of
the
brands.
they moved it to Prime, which is stupid. I hate it. But at least I have at least my family has the collection of the entire 10 years, which is fantastic. But
you lucky little bastard.
Actually, that's my mom's fault. She got all these gift cards and bought the entire 10 years. I'm thinking of maybe bringing them to get signed, but I already got the photo op, so it's kind of pointless. But Yeah, that all the 10 years are mine, but the fact that they really moved all of them off is just so stupid, because Tenth Doctor, he just knew how to be a doctor. Like, I remember when he was cast, he said he always wanted to be the Doctor, and the fact that he actually became a doctor is amazing.
When he was younger in school,
yeah,
he actually got written up and in trouble because for all of his writing assignments, Dave Tennant, all of his writing assignments were Doctor Who fan fiction.
Oh my god.
All of them. For Doctor Who fan fiction. I'm not talking like sexy. Ooh, the Doctor does this or anything. No, like seriously, a Doctor going on adventures, saving the day kind of a thing.
You think about
every single writing.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. I mean, when you think about it, the 10th Doctor is not only one of the best Doctors out of all of them, but he also, as an actor, he just knows how to do it right. Like, I remember watching the last episode he was ever in, which was End of Time Part 2, and when he throws a little tantrum when he I think he was after the 10th Doctor, in End of Time Part 2, when he's when Wilfred is stuck in the little the glass thing, and then he falls to the ground, he takes the Time Lords out, and then he just he has a tantrum, but it's the best acting ever from an actor. He's
no, he
so
doesn't
much
have a
more
tantrum.
kind of thing.
He's like, hey, I'm gonna die. This dude that I gotta save killed me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not a tantrum. That's realizing, oh shit, I'm dead.
Yeah, that was especially when he says the line I'm going to die, and he's even if I do change, I'm dead. It feels like dying. Some new man goes wandering off, and I'm dead. And it's just amazing.
Yeah, just a new man goes sauntering on, and I'm gone.
That is so sad. Obviously, when he changed, I was.
And when his final words, when my mom saw that.
I don't want to go.
When my mom saw that as well, she teared up. The two times I remember her tearing up the most were that scene.
Mm-hmm.
That scene when the pawns left, and when when Rose left.
Yeah.
Those were the three big times I ever saw my mom she was tearing up like crazy during those 3 times.
Wow. I mean, I remember when I was watching the behind the scenes for the 10's ending, his Regeneration. I remember they had multiple takes, and one of them was extremely teary-eyed. He was I don't want to go, kind of like that. It was and they actually had a different take, but it was there were multiple takes, and one of them was he was crying because he was about to die. I mean, seriously, if you were the Doctor and you were about to die, you'd probably cry a little bit. It's I'm going to die.
You wouldn't?
I am not going to be the same. I'm gonna be the same mind, but I'm gonna have a complete different face. It's gonna be so weird. And the kind of thing when Eleven first appeared in that episode, and he's I'm a girl, and of course now that they've confirmed that that's a girl, which is something I was hoping we could at least touch on. I know we haven't none of you seen that special, but when they announced the new Doctor, I was a little upset actually. To be honest with you,
I wasn't upset. I was more okay, it's a chick. Let's go. Let's see how this works.
Yeah,
because I mean, I remember that one dude I forget who it was. I think it was the Doctor that killed him, and this was 12. The Doctor and him were fighting when this is when they were on not Spenzalore, Gallifrey, and that other general dude, one of them shot that general guy.
Yeah, I know.
And he was an old, white, bald dude.
Yep.
All of a sudden, regenerates. A black lady with long hair.
I know.
Just and she looks down, looks back up. Well, this is bound to happen sooner or later. Points the gun right back at him afterwards.
That was weird. It's and that's just is the feature all girl? And it's well, for the Doctor it is, yeah. And it was just because I remember when they had a spoof back in the 90s, in 1999, they had a. Just before the show officially came back, it was Curse of the Fatal Death, and it was starring Roderick and a bunch of other British actors, and it was honestly one of the worst episodes of Doctor Who. I love the design of it, but it was the worst written episode I've ever seen, because at the end of the show, at the end of the episode, Doctor wouldn't change, and then the final lady was able to change, but this time it was a woman, and his fiance wouldn't marry him, and she's oh, are these bumps? Because I made it fun, the Master in the episode was he was the idea of the double bumps looked like boobs, but it wasn't, and so when she regenerated into a woman, it was so sexist and weird, and it was oh, are these bumps? It's no, you're a woman now. It's and it just made me so mad when well, I'm not mad, just like upset. More like I was like, oh no, I was afraid. I'm still afraid they're gonna do that. But according to my brother, they're gonna have it a whole new direction where they're not even gonna like, you know, they're just gonna ignore the fact that she's a woman. They're just gonna like, it's just a doctor and she's a female doctor. That's it. They're gonna ignore the fact that, oh, she's got boobs now. It won't be even that. Like I saw the episode and I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but I'm just gonna say I was like, I just kind of like sad. I'm like, man, So it's like, and when I announced it, I was just like, I was not too thrilled about it because everyone else, and everyone's like, oh, everyone's sexy about the new doctor. It's like the females, like because everyone wanted it for some reason. I was hoping they'd have a, the first junior doctor, like a doctor with orange hair finally. Like Chris Marshall was up for the rumor, and that never happened. And they announced Jodie Whittaker. I'm like, oh no. And then I saw the new image, like this might not be that bad because of the image they released of the doctor and the TARDIS. And like it might not be that bad. I'm like, maybe if I watch one episode, I'll want to watch more. But that's an if. But I don't know. What do you guys think of the Doctor? Do you think it'll be okay, or do you think do you think Doctor Who should just end now?
I'm honestly kind of excited to see where this goes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a super strong opinion either way.
Yeah.
I just think it's a cool idea. So.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. That's an opinion.
I think that it was kind of a more. I think that the whole idea of having, hey, the doctor's going to be a lady, it was a little more out of the blue than some people hope. But I don't think, when I first heard it, I was like, they're going with that? Okay, let's see how this goes. I think that the doctor needs to have that kind of a role eventually, because he's played the whole old man so many times, the young kid so many times, and yada yada yada. Might as well give it a shot like that. Might as well see how the doctor is going to interact, because they're supposed to be all different people, same mantle, trying to live up to the same name.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing about that when I was was still recovering. I'm still kind of recovering about this whole announcement. Is, in fact, even when I watched this episode, I was just like I was a little uneasy about it. Is because then I realized that, well, two things. One, I think there was like a Time Lord, in the Gallifrey, the Gallifrey history that had at least 2 female incarnations. So it can happen. And then also when Missy was brought onto the scene, the new master is like, what? Why? And then I, at least, a couple of times, there's one time, it has happened before, she's said it before, I'm not gonna, that's kind of a spoiler here, but, it was in Series 8, when she was introduced in Series 8 to Doctor Who, like, when she said, I'm the master, like, I'm sort of mistress, I'm Missy, and I'm like, I'm a time lady now. It's like, a time lady? Really? That means, no, because if the Doctor becomes a woman, that means that she's a time lady too. But then again, you think about Jenny from the Doctor era. She's actually it is possible for a Time Lord to be female. It's possible to have a female Time Lord. And so when I think it's just Moffat's writing that caused me to be angry with the fact that he's like, oh, I'm a Time Lady, old fashioned. It's like, oh god. And I was just like, if they do the same thing with the Doctor, it's like, oh, she's a Time Lady now. Then again, that probably won't be what they do, because the Master is very different from the Doctor in so many ways. And so I don't think they're gonna do Time Lady for the Doctor. It just wouldn't make sense. Plus it would just be wrong,
I don't know if it's just because I'm a little more free-spirited in the way, like, I really don't care what someone is, if they're gay, bi, straight, whatever.
Yeah.
As long as someone's not an asshole, I really don't have a problem. The same thing goes with the Doctor. As long as there's going to be a character that brings a lot to the role. It's Jodie Whittaker, and I don't know jack shit about her. And I didn't have a chance to see a whole lot of the final years of the last Doctor. Wasn't actually beginning as me. But anyway, I can't believe I'm actually getting that close. Unfortunately, I only had a chance to see the first 2 seasons of them.
Yeah.
And so I don't know where Doctor Who is right now, but as long as she brings a good role to the story, as long as she does a good job with it, I really don't have a problem.
Yeah.
Do a good job, do your role, and make sure there'll be something memorable that you're not a jackass for.
True. Yes. I mean, it's
as long as she is humbling in her own right and to the character, and she brings something good to the role that fans can be proud of, whether now or 20 years from now, I don't have a problem. It's something that I know, it's something that I love, it's something that I've adored for years. I've shared it with both my, and I never would have imagined in a million years either my mom or my dad even vaguely enjoying it. My biological father, my papa, absolutely loves it with my stepmother.
Yeah.
They know everything, literally everything, except for the lost episodes or whatnot. But they're more into Doctor Who than I am. And that's saying something.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Because for a while when Doctor Who was on break, I would watch this other show, because there's this channel called Dynamic Works 2012. You may have heard of it. You probably haven't. But it's this fan series from Luke Newman, who's this Brit who basically this independent filmmaker who makes a fan show of Doctor Who, and it's so good. It's amazing. I mean, it isn't like the production level of Doctor Who itself, but it is so amazing. Like he has a TARDIS that looks incredible, took years to make. He's got amazing crew. He's got, the first season was a bit wonky because the companion didn't have good acting, but it's honestly a really good fan show out of all the ones that people have made in the past. And now they obviously they have a new TARDIS now because the one they had previously has gotten older, and they take it down and they're making a new one. But they cast the first Black Doctor, which I think is amazing because not only diversity, but also I think it'll be very interesting to have a Doctor who is that we've never seen before. I mean, because Black Doctor, it was considered by before they cast Whittaker to have a Black Doctor like Idris Elba. Chance. Actually, I would like to see that. That would be really cool. In fact, I think a Black Doctor would actually have been really cool. I think it's still opportunity if they make a 14th Doctor, it would be really cool. But I think it would be really cool, and the fact that they're having a Black Doctor in this TV show or this web series on YouTube, I think it'd be cool, and I think you guys should see it. The first season, honestly,
called?
The channel is called Dynamic Works 2012 or DW 2012. It's this Doctor Who fan show, and it's actually the first season. I will warn you, the companion has pretty bad acting, but as the show goes on, the acting gets better, and the companions are swapped, and he gets new companions. And honestly, the one he has now, compared to the other companion he had, her acting is so much better. You go from the first season where the actress, like, there's a point in the episode where she smiles when she's saying her lines, and it's the worst acting you'd ever see. But then you fast forward to, like, the fourth season, it's like, the acting for this companion, you get a different companion, is way better. Like, I don't know what happened, but, like, they've made it way better. You can tell the difference, because, some shows do that where the acting is pretty bad in the first season, but then in the final season or late season, it's like, wow, not bad at all. But I would recommend it, especially if you're waiting for, if you don't want to wait for Series 8, or sorry, Series 11 to premiere in October, you can watch this show because it's actually pretty good. It might be the show I go to if I stop watching the show after the next season premieres. But I just watched it and I'm like, wow, this isn't bad, It's not actually that bad. Production level isn't what Doctor Who is, but it's supposed to be a fan show. So it's not supposed to be Doctor Who. It's supposed to be fan-made, their ideas, they take inspiration from the show, but it is not real Doctor Who. It's just a fan project. It's like a freak thing, and I think it's pretty incredible what the guy's done. The fact that he can get a camera, get actual TARDIS sets, like usually a shed. That's incredible. I mean, honestly, it's amazing. So definitely think it's worth a watch. I mean, maybe not the first few episodes. Maybe get for those ones, but trust me, you'll enjoy it very well.
Right.
In fact, they have a master in there. I'm not going to really go into details, but like they have a lot of really interesting things. The only thing, they have even Daleks too. The only thing that I will say about the show in terms of production quality is a lot of the costumes, like heck, the Time Lord, the Time Lord headpiece or whatever. Most of it's actually cardboard, but that's because it's a fan show. Okay, they don't have protection level of Doctor Who itself.
Yeah.
But,
if you wanted to have an actual thing that's, hey, big budget, watch a big budget thing, like, I don't know, the Doctor Who show.
Exactly.
On that, though,
Yeah.
I do have another topic, though, that I'd like to also mention.
Oh, yeah?
But as we were talking about which one was it? James Bond beforehand, and you mentioned African-American actors and whatnot.
I think it'd be really cool.
Idris Elba, the name Idris Elba.
Yeah.
I gotta put in my 2 cents on this because I never had the chance to say it before. I love that actor.
Me too.
I adore his work. I think he's an amazing actor. And I like seeing films with him in it. I haven't seen Dark Tower, but even Prometheus.
He was pretty good in Jungle Book.
Which is probably the second weakest film in the Alien Legacy. And that's saying something. He played a really cool character. I enjoy seeing his work. I have nothing against the man at all. I don't care. But here's my thing. There was a petition for him to be the next James Bond.
I think I saw that, yeah.
And I gotta say, I don't care if someone is African American or what. It fits the character.
Yes.
If he were to play Doctor Who or something like that, maybe. I don't know how he would fit in with Doctor Who as just acting and kind of character that he normally plays. It could be done. It couldn't, but I'm just saying that it might be different.
Yeah.
But James Bond is a set character. A set character is a white dude, old, young, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But that's about it. I mean, I don't really see how that would really enhance the character or not enhance it.
I haven't seen all the I've only seen up to like what the 70s. I haven't even gotten through Roger Moore yet.
I really think just about every
I haven't even seen the reboot yet. I haven't seen any of the new ones from Casino Royale to any. I haven't seen those yet at all. Seriously, I haven't.
I think just about every single James Bond movie, even that shit Diamonds Are Forever.
I didn't hate that one. It was, I will say, it was boring. It was about as boring as Transformers 5 was.
No, that's one of the worst movies I've just
It was about as boring as it was.
I will hang up this podcast.
It was as boring as Transformers 5 was. That's all I can say. Transformers 5 was boring. I was so bored by it.
Hey, that was actually somewhat entertaining.
I like the plot. Transformers 5 had a good plot, but the boring.
It was entertaining.
It was entertaining. It was.
The third Transformers 1 was
Transformers 5 was entertaining. I liked the plot, but it just went nothing really. It was basically what Transformers 4 did, where it's like I like the plot a lot, but it's just nothing but the same thing ever again. And like, when is it gonna end? I like the. It had a really decent plot this time around. But I mean, we're talking about nerd stuff. We're allowed to do that, okay? But I'm bringing it up. Transformers 5 had a good plot, but that's it.
Anyway, yeah, I just don't really see that would enhance the character or anything like that. I mean, if it were to be another character in the same universe, hell yeah, I could see him being a super spy easy. I could see that actor being a gun-toting ass, sleeping with a lot of beautiful women. I mean, just he can be the pinnacle of a badass spy.
I mean, from the movies that I've seen of James Bond, it's kind of strange how they with Doctor Who, where you have the change of appearance, they explain it, but with James Bond, it's like they don't at all. It's like they just cast a new actress, that's it. So it's like one of the movies that they had it. Like, I think Q he pretended like James Bond was just like the same man. It's like, oh, it's the John Lazenby version. Hi James, what's up? It's like, he has a different face now. It's like, he's the same guy to me. It's like, what the hell? They recast him, but yet Q doesn't even realize that he's a different, James Bond. It's like, just same old James, So weird how they do that. Like, that's why it's weird when James Bond overall as a franchise. I'm really curious why they didn't, in the first place, just explain the change. They just didn't even bother. James Bond as a whole is a fantastic franchise, but one thing I will say, one that I can give for that franchise is change of actors, and the fact that they don't really do anything to explain it, especially when they have a character who just pretends like James Bond didn't even change his face. They just change his face, like, oh, same James Bond, nothing changed at all. And that's the weakness about those films, is that they don't change.
That's one of those things where that's just one of those ways. They try to do it, and also it just takes place in different times. It's fun.
But yeah, that's just one thing about Doctor Who that kind of does not show James Bond. With James Bond, where it's like they didn't bother to change it, and with Doctor Who, they did. And also something about Doctor Who is that I was talking to my dad about this. I was watching an episode of Star Trek because I finally got to the original series, and the fact that in the Americans we got color TV first. That's why Star Trek was broadcasted in color in the 60s before Doctor Who was, and that's why Doctor Who wasn't broadcasted until the 70s in color. And that's because the Americans, us, we could actually afford to buy color TV for things like Star Trek, and then of course the British couldn't because it was expensive in the 60s. It's fascinating how Doctor Who was, you'd see like Star Trek, it's like, well, this is around the 60s. Also the 60s Doctor Who, except it wasn't in color. That's because it was expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, Doctor Who changed a lot, and I gotta say, if I was to pick a favorite companion, I would pick Rose and Clara, but mainly Rose. She was one of my favorite companions of all the companions combined.
Okay, I think I can beat that.
You can't beat that,
Captain Jack.
He was fantastic.
Captain Jack, hands down. I don't need anyone else, just give me Captain Jack. That is the only picture I'd ever go gay for, even just vaguely even consider it.
Wow.
Just saying. It's a guilty pleasure, but other than that, no, not my thing.
That
picture is fucking awesome, man.
Oh yeah,
Captain
definitely.
Jack.
I really enjoy it, especially on Arrow, but there's a lot of things with the companions that, like, throughout the 10th Doctor's era, like, Martha only got 1 season, Donna only got 1 season. I wish they would have gotten one more, like, I wish Tennant would have gotten 6 seasons. If he had gotten 6 seasons, we would have gotten, Rose for 2, Rose for 1, Martha for 2, and Donna for 2. But they just didn't have enough time on the show. And that was the sad part about it. But even then, I feel like the companions get less attention than the Doctor does. Because it's about the Doctor. He's the main
title.
It's the main center of the show, exactly. And then the companions, like, but they don't get enough attention. Although they do get enough attention, but I feel like they deserve more than what they are in the show. And they just Rose had that connection with the Doctor because she was the first girl to fall in love with the Doctor, literally. And that was the special part.
Well, not only that, but so Rose Tyler was the first person in history to ever show a Dalek mercy.
Yeah, exactly.
However, you look at not Donna Noble. Oh my God, I can't even actually think it. River Song, the first one to ever make the Doctor beg for mercy.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, seriously, remember Mercy? Mercy, mercy.
Yeah, definitely.
One time. River Song's a fucking badass,
Definitely, yes. I will agree with that. I mean,
my 2 companions would definitely be Jack and River Song.
Oh yeah, they were fantastic. I honestly, it was interesting because Jack was the first American companion, even though he wasn't a companion for long. He was only a companion for like a 1 arc, which was sad. I wish he was on for more. But still, a lot of the show.
You seriously need to check out Torchwood.
I don't want to watch Torchwood, honestly. It's too violent. It's not my kind of thing.
Believe me, you see a lot worse.
Yeah, I think it's just the fact that it's too scary for me. I don't think I'd like it a lot. More too bloody,
Yeah, it's a little scary, but it's not. Some of the stuff is the 456. Oh my God, but not nearly as bad as the silence.
Yeah, I agree with you with that, but yeah, I mean, it's the thing with with the later seasons of Doctor Who, especially with 11th Doctor, when they took TARDIS away, I was confused. I didn't know why he did it, why he changed it. I mean, it was obviously why he did it, but one thing about Doctor Who that I just hated in the later seasons is when they didn't bother to explain what happened, like where did the new TARDIS come from, what happened to Doctor's clothes. All that stuff, and it's like, I mean, it's obviously what happened.
Actually.
But they don't explain what happened to the TARDIS. They explain what happened to the clothes, but they don't really explain what happened to the TARDIS.
Yeah, they do.
Well, they don't really show it. You get the idea what happened, but they don't.
They're
really
making
show
it a prompt.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You know what happens in the show. Hey, it changes.
Just one thing I really did not like about 11 was when well, also not just the 11's era, but like when season 7 was split into 2 parts. I absolutely hated season 7. Hated it. I did not like it at all. Well, maybe 1 episode or 2, but like I did not like any of it. It's just the format of the show was bad. You have like season 7. You had like
which Doctor and which one was that?
Season 7 with the the end of the Ponds and then the beginning of Clara. You have half season in 2012. And then a special.
Yeah, but what happened in that season?
In season 7, you have, or series 7, you have the end of the Ponds and then the beginning of Clara. It's basically like he loses the Ponds, he goes on 5 more adventures, and then he has a special where he broods over Clara, and then Clara, the Clara from this world, discovers him, and then he finds another version of Clara, and then he becomes traveling with her, and then it goes into the special. And finally, the Regeneration. That's how Series 7 ended. But so I didn't like how that arc was. That whole season, it just was messy. I didn't like it. But I did like Matt Smith's Doctor. He was very fun. I prefer 10th Doctor, but honestly, 11 was fantastic. He honestly had a kind of like a childish wit about him. He just felt like felt so whimsical and joyous, and he was just. Because he was the youngest actor to play the Doctor, so he's just like so different. But I mean, obviously his TARDIS was a lot different. I didn't like his TARDIS much. Like it was hard to get used to. When it blew up, especially when it blew up, it was just like not the same kind of thing. But still, I mean, I liked it when that first scene where he's trying new things, trying the apple, trying the
Oh yeah. Get out of here!
Yogurt, trying the beans, bacon, tossing the toast out, and then eating fish curds as a custard. That was fantastic. I love that part. That was hilarious.
This thing isn't custard, man.
Oh yeah, that was I think that was one of the funniest episodes of Eleventh Doctor's era. I thought that was fantastic. You know, it's like he's experiencing all these new tastes, and then he's talking to Amy, who was adorable in that scene. Actually, she's not 16 now. The actress is actually 16 now. Well, actually, technically she's gonna be 17 this year. Yeah, Caitlin Blackwood, is 17 now. It's crazy. But yeah, that was my favorite episode of Eleventh Doctor's era, because he's just a good actor. But that's one of the things about Doctor Who that I love about it, is that each new Doctor has their own way of doing things, and because the personality changes, and then the way they go about being a doctor, they're so different, you know. That makes the show so unique, you know. That's why I love it so much, you know.
Oh yeah, one. So a couple things on that.
Mm-hmm.
One, Matt Smith. He was, so one of the things that Billie Piper is renowned for, I haven't seen the show myself, but beforehand I think she was like a pinup model or something like that. But anyway, he does a lot more than just Doctor Who kind of things. But one of the shows that she is called Diary of a Call Girl.
I think I've heard of that, yeah.
A hooker.
I've heard of that.
And in one of the episodes, Matt Smith actually pick up in bed next to each other.
I think I saw like an image of that, yeah.
I saw just a clip of it when they're doing like an interview thing between all the cast and whatnot, and I think Matt Smith said, "I just love working with her," and I showed a clip of that.
You love working with her. Yeah, you get to spend more time with her.
Really, it was so amazing. She's a hoot to be around. Yeah, bullshit.
Well, I think Billie Piper as an actress, she's amazing. I mean, not only is she gorgeous, but she's also just an amazing actress. Because she's my favorite companion. And she was so amazing. She just was so interesting. Her life was interesting. I just felt like she just evolved as a character. You know, I mean, it was weird because between the Ninth Doctor's era and the 10th Doctor's era, her hair changed. Like, I think like it became shorter. Either she cut it or whatever it was. And then if she were to like, I think the crazy part about it is like, she started wearing more makeup. Like she wore like globs of eyeliner. It was like way too much. You could tell it was like, what's she doing to herself? You know, I don't know. It was just weird to see her with all that stuff on. But I still really enjoyed her. And when we lost her, it was every time you watch that episode, you can't help yourself but cry, because not only is the music sad, but also the emotions that play between the Doctor and Rose are just the saddest. You know, and then of course I think my favorite, I guess reunion, if you want to call it that, is when I think you both in this episode, the Doomsday episode, when Jackie meets the parallel Pete, like when because her Pete died, and so she like hugs him, and Rose is like she couldn't believe it, you know. That was the best part about it, you know. That was just something I noticed about that character. I loved a lot. But how about you, Lucas? What do you think about anything about, Rose's era? I guess I would call it, I don't know, call it an era, but, anything about it you like?
She was one of my favorite characters in the series. I think my favorite season in the series was the first one with 10, so second season that she was in.
Her second series with a Doctor guest, technically, so,
right.
But, yeah,
that finale was just all of the feels.
I definitely like especially when she revisited her dad after before he died, she can stop. That scene was so sad. Like, I feel like all the scenes all the best scenes with Rose are the saddest, you know? I don't know why it is, like, she's always the companion that gets the saddest scenes. I just feel like that's the way it is, you know? It just feels like that's the way the show has been going on, is that, that she is I wouldn't call her the saddest, companion, but, like, she's the best companion out of all of them, even the classics. Of course, I have Rose, because I haven't seen all the classics yet. Out of all of them, actually, yes, out of all of them.
I wouldn't say out of all of them. Rose is the one that I first got to know as a fan of the series and whatnot, and she was one of my favorite characters, and for the longest time, she was actually one of my favorite companions. But then I don't really think of her as the best anymore. I think that she's definitely one of my favorites, but personally, Donna, when we first met Donna, I had a lot of trouble with her. The first time I ever saw the series, I hated having her on, and I was glad to see her go.
Yeah.
So she was just a whiny bitch, and just a jackass to the Doctor with non-stop. She's like, what the hell are you doing, lady?
Part of why I liked her so much, she actually called the Doctor on his on his crap.
Oh yeah.
Quite regularly.
Yeah.
I remember the episode. I'm just remembering it now. The episode when it was actually pretty funny when the 10th Doctor officially lets Donna join him on his adventures, and he's like, I just want a mate. I just want a mate. He's like, you just want a mate. I just want a mate. I want a mate. It was hilarious. Remember that scene?
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Like, I just want a mate. You know what I mean? It was sweet sunshine. It was so funny. It was like
actually in the episode of Pompeii.
Oh yeah, that was great.
When what? Seriously, what's 12th Doctor's name again?
Well, the Peter Capaldi.
Peter Capaldi, yeah.
Casilius, yeah.
He was in the Pompeii episode as well as, not Billie Piper. The lady that would play Amy Pond.
Yeah, Karen Gillan. Yeah. She had a cameo in that one.
And Karen Gillan now plays Nebula.
Yep, in Marvel. Yeah, in the Marvel Universe.
Oh yeah, but
didn't know either of those. Either of those facts. There we go. That's how you English.
But yeah, personally I really love the Ponds, but later as I watched the show and got a little older and whatnot, I appreciated Donna a lot more than I did beforehand. Yeah, the Doctor was kind of going on his own tirade, especially with 10, and just, oh my god, some of the stuff that he was trying to do, especially at the end. When he started getting really dark, oh my god. Not in Starker Fear, Capaldi would ultimately take the character, but when he started playing God himself and like the Mars episode, Waters of Mars, just,
that was amazing.
Oh god.
Pretty terrifying actually, but yeah, I remember watching Pond Life, which it was weird because, they was referred to Amy Rory as the Ponds, even though technically when she marries him, it's Williams. Of course, they fixed that in the end, but the fact that they had a whole thing about Pond Life. It's before the events of Series 7, and it was about Amy Rory's life, just without the Doctor. And one of the the entire arc was them discovering a new Ood. And I love the Ood. They were fantastic. They were just creepy, but they're also fantastic. And one scene where Rory enters the bathroom and there's an Ood sitting in it, sitting on the toilet, and it's just it's awkward, and it just becomes their housekeeper. It's so hilarious, but it also just shows you for the first time what a life was like without the Doctor around, as a companion. I wish they would have done that more with Rose and the other companions, but the Ponds got the first treatment of what it would be like to have life without the Doctor. What they do with their lives, and it's just interesting because you never have that. That was never really a thing until the Doctor came around. You never really had that at all. And then another episode that I absolutely love, one of my favorite episodes of the 11th Doctor's era, and that is the Doctor's wife. And I think I might have brought this up before. On the last episode we did this on, but it was my favorite episode because not only do we see the Doctor's TARDIS in female form, as a woman, but also we see the 10th Doctor's TARDIS, or the 9th and 10th Doctor TARDIS console room, which is my favorite out of all of them. That was a fantastic idea to have not only the Doctor TARDIS become a woman, in female form, but also we see his connection to her in a way we've never seen before, because we always know that he's with his TARDIS and she's just a machine. But in this episode, we realize that there's more than just being a machine. She has a heart. She's actually a being, and that's what made it really amazing. And the fact that they built TARDISes, they had a TARDIS junkyard, they had the not the old TARDIS, but the previous TARDIS, which was awesome. In fact, yeah, I remember the one of the lines I archived them, I have 30 now, and then it's I think the Doctor's there aren't any old controls, they're either thrown out or remodeled, and it's true, but I love that episode. It was so good. Remember that one?
Which one?
It was the Doctor's wife.
Oh right.
Yeah. With Idris. His he had the house, and they were on the planet, and then the 10th Doctor TARDIS came back. That was actually funny story about that. It was that TARDIS. That was a really good episode because with the TARDIS, well, not only was it written by Neil Gaiman, but also the TARDIS set they had that they were still in storage, from the previous Doctor. They didn't tell anyone they still had it. They never got back to demolish it, but they still had it in storage. And no one told them they were gonna actually use it for a future episode, and they did. They ended up taking it out of storage. Nothing was touched about. I think it might have been just worn, but it was the same set, and they hadn't torn it down yet. And it's I think it was because no one told them anything about why do you even take the set down? It's no one told them it was still set up in that studio, and they used it for the episode. It was fantastic. although the lighting was different, it was definitely amazing. And so that's one thing. That's one episode I absolutely love about Doctor was that episode. But I don't know. That's just one of my favorite episodes. You guys have any of you a favorite episode, or is that I don't know? Maybe that's similar opinion, but
I don't really know about favorite episodes, but probably one of the scariest bastards in our series, and also a promise from the dude that was writing Doctor Who at the time. Everybody loves Rose. Everybody loves just this one. The gas mask child.
That was fantastic.
And again,
episode.
He said just this once.
Everybody
that
lives.
That was a promise. After that, every single episode, somebody.
I agree.
Really?
That was a fantastic episode.
Oh yeah, that was the episode with the gas mask child when they were in World War II. The first
that was a good one.
Jack. That was a good one, yeah.
Oh, don't do my I think my favorite.
That was also the first one with Jack Harkness. That was a fantastic episode. Introduced Jack.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
That was a great one. I love that one.
Oh yeah.
My favorite, but it was fantastic.
I love that scene where he's like, "Go to your room," and then cuts to the next episode. Oh, thank God that worked. That was
really bad. That was terrible last words. Go to your room. Lucas, what you were gonna say something?
Blink is my favorite episode.
Oh,
without a doubt.
Actually, that reminds me of another episode, but that one was actually pretty good. That was the first introduction of the Living Angels, and they're not my favorite monster, but I definitely like them a lot because they're very not scary in that way. That they're scary, but they're not like not the scariest monsters that are Mars monsters, but that was a pretty good episode because it was also about the Doctor, but more about just a girl. But it was also, we see the Doctor in a different light. We see him, helping this girl out, and it was amazing. Honestly, it was a good episode. I mean, I liked it more than I liked the Monsters episode. I hated that one because it was just about Elton. Elton. Yeah, it was. I hated that episode. That was suck. The one it was nothing about Doctor Who. It was a fan group that was like obsessed with Doctor Who, and they wanted to meet him, and of course at the end of the episode he does come out and talk to them because Jackie's in the episode, but it was the episode that introduced Linda, which is the London Investigation and Detective Agency. It was just the worst episode Doctor I've ever seen. I hated it. But
which one?
It was called Love and Monsters. It's the one that had I can't remember the actor's name, but it was his first name is Mark. Not Mark Welly. That's Harry Potter, but. He was an actor. He was in Hogfather. He was the villain of Hogfather. He was the creepy guy. He was Tommy.
I haven't ever heard of Hogfather.
What, you never heard of that movie?
Never heard of it.
Wow, it's by Terry Pratchett. It's a pretty good movie, but he was a villain in that, and he was a serial killer, assassin in this case, and he was in this episode as this kid who had seen the Doctor, and he had encountered the Doctor before, but he never spoke to him. And
oh God, that's the worst episode ever.
Honestly one of the worst episodes I've ever seen. It was creative with the monster, but it was honestly garbage.
When I saw that one with my mom,
I
refused to watch it. I said, I am not watching this shit. That one is
it was disgusting.
The worst episode of a TV show I have ever seen, and I've seen some shit.
It was awful. The writing, the monster, the lack of a doctor.
No, the thing that pissed me off the most was the monster that they had in it.
Yeah, the Absorbaloff. It was so disgusting. Ugh. I think it was actually designed by a kid. A kid designed that monster, and he's saying it's I want this to be I want this to be a monster on Doctor Who. It's okay. If it happened,
I don't care, kid. No. There's some things you should not do. I don't care if a kid made it. It's shit.
Well, you're dissing a kid then. You're just saying, fuck you, kid.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I'm not saying you're a dick to, but I'm just saying you're a dick to the kid. I'm not saying you're a dick in general. You're a dick to the kid. You're saying the monster sucked. It was. I do agree with that. That was truly one of the most despicable and worst episodes of Doctor Who ever written.
It was one of?
Yes.
That means
the other episode that was bad, that had bad writing, was the 11th Doctor's final episode. And this is something I just couldn't stand, was when he decides to, battle the monsters until he gets old, and uses regeneration energy to blow up the ship.
Oh, I like one.
I didn't like that one. That was just not a good episode. I didn't like that, but...
Oh, I love that one.
I didn't really like it all that much. But yeah, that's all I can say about Doctor Who. Is there anything more you had to say? And I I know we're kind of over time now, unfortunately, but
It was justified.
What was that?
We were talking about Doctor Who going over time was justified.
Well, obviously, but I'm saying that we could continue talking, or is that all I had? I mean, I could talk about Doctor Who for hours, quite literally, but I don't want to talk about Doctor Who for hours because we don't have much time. But I don't know. Like I feel like with the new Doctor, it'll be interesting change. I'm not sure if I'm gonna continue watching it because I told myself after when I watched the special that's to be the last episode. But when they have a cliffhanger like that, because one thing that Doctor Who is known for is cliffhangers. I hate cliffhangers on Doctor Who. They suck. It's like no. I think one of the worst cliffhangers ever that they just made me so angry with was when the 10th Doctor regenerated for the first time. Of course, it wasn't actually a regeneration. It was a fake one because of course the Doctor was like, oh no, keeps regenerating, no, and then it's like cliffhanger. Oh no, wait a whole week, and it was obviously, I was like, it was, that era, I was already like, it wasn't the year I watched it, it was further it was like, way back, after that, but like, one thing Doctor Who sucks at is having cliffhangers, and I can't believe it when they do it. It's like, they make us wait, and I hate it. like when they made me wait a whole week to watch the series 10 finale, which I'm not gonna go into it at all. I'm just gonna say that it was just one of those things where it's like when Doctor Who does that, I'm just like, ugh, what happened? Why can't I make what happens next? I don't know. It was, and especially when the Time Doctor first meets Donna, that was a crazy one. Not only when he sees the Titanic for the first time, but also when he sees Donna for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
That was
just phenomenal.
Like the Doctor's recovering from Rose leaving, and then you just meet. It's like, oh, someone's on my TARDIS. What the hell? It's like, what are I just lost someone. Now I have to deal with someone else. It's like, come on. But yeah, that's really all I can say. I mean, I think we could definitely do another episode of Doctor Who in the meantime, but unfortunately we were actually way past time to end the show. Unfortunately, because usually we go for an hour, but it's been more than an hour. It might be less time when I edit it, but who knows? It'll probably be less than an hour when I edit it, but I think that's a good time to wrap up because we think we've been going on quite a long time. I love talking about Doctor Who. I haven't done it in such a long time. It's literally been 71 episodes since we talked about Doctor Who. Literally 71 episodes ago was our Doctor Who episode. So I think it's fantastic we do this. But I love having episodes of arcs episodes in this podcast have multiple parts. So if you guys want to do another episode of this in the future, I would love to do it too. Because I love Doctor Who. It's like we can talk about this for hours, kind of thing. But yeah, is there anything else you guys want to talk about on the subject of Doctor Who, or?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm not up to date, so I don't have anything to say about the new stuff.
Alright, that's cool. I mean, we already speculated about the new Doctor, but that's all we can say. I didn't want to go into any specifics because if you're not caught up, that's it wouldn't make sense to talk about that. But anyway, I think that's gonna be where we're gonna end this episode. It's been fantastic. We haven't done this in a long time, and I'm happy we did it. I'm really happy. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of The Madhouse. Hope you enjoyed listening to it. If you did, please hit the like button. We all really appreciate the support. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe for more episodes of this podcast and other series that I do, as well as other great content. Also, make sure to subscribe to bigdinoguy. Link in the description. Check out his channel, his reviews, as well as me. Pretty good. He doesn't post as often, but he posts when he wants to, when he can. So check him out.
I think that kind of hit the fan for me, so it'll be a while. But
just check him out when he can.
I'm going to be moving again here relatively soon.
Okay.
And just kind of gotten hold of shit, but hopefully in the next year I'll be able to post at least one.
Just keep by his channel. He gets some good content. Anyway, yeah. Thank you again for listening, and we'll be back next time with another episode. Alright, bye-bye.
Bye.